Tony nominee Adrienne will be back in the spotlight on October 8th, playing Tina Turner when the show reopens. She's also shining a light on Broadway's diversity concerns. She says the industry hasn't done enough to support black artists. Here's part of the conversation she had with CBS 2's Maurice Dubois.
You were quoted as saying, "I've wanted to be here," meaning Broadway, since I was 6 years old. And I'm not ashamed to say that. I'm proud of it because I loved you and you're breaking my heart. What do you mean by that?
Broadway was silent about my life and about whether or not it matters. We were having to ask permission to be seen as equal, and yet asked to sometimes, a lot of times, work twice as hard. I don't know another role where anyone has been asked to sing 20-plus songs or asked to do what I've been asked to do physically. And the sacrifice that I see my brothers and sisters in the Broadway community, black artists, artists of color, the sacrifice that I see they make with their bodies and their voices and their stories. Our stories are being told and capitalized off of. And yet we are completely erased from the creative teams and from a lot of times from the process, the creative process. And that's very painful, heartbreaking.
Maurice continues his conversation with Adrienne coming up on CBS Sunday Morning, next at 9 o'clock. During the last 18 months, the theater community has taken steps to become more inclusive. Black playwrights are now getting more opportunities to tell their stories to a bigger audience. There's more to happen, though. CBS 2's Cindy Hsu reports on how things are changing.
On August 4th, Passovers, 3 actors took their bows after a monumental preview performance. The first play staged since March 12th of 2020 was a significant step in the reopening of Broadway. Passover also ushered in a new era.
It feels so good not only to be back in theater, but to see black people on these stages using their voices, telling their stories.
7 plays this fall are written by African-American playwrights, including Ruben Santiago-Hudson's one-man show, Lackawanna Blues.
I'm very pleased that the theater owners recognize that they have to do something differently. Diversity is the way things look. Inclusion is an attitude. It's the way things happen. That means you have included my opinion, things that are important to me.
Santiago-Hudson will also direct another play this fall, Skeleton Crew, written by Dominique Morisseau.
This cannot be a moment, it has to be a movement. And I will continue to preach that.
Janine Scott, the Broadway League's new director of diversity, equity, and inclusion, is also spreading the word.
That means creating accessibility so that all individuals are able to experience Broadway.
Scott adds that includes expanding the Broadway Bridges program, which is aimed at giving every New York City public high school student the chance to see a show before graduating.
There are, about 70% of the students identify as a people of color. If we don't expose them, if they don't see it, then they don't know that they too can be that on stage or behind the stage.
Here at Circle in the Square Theater, Chicken and Biscuits is now in previews. The comedy was written by Douglas Lyons, one of several new plays by African Americans coming to Broadway this season. In the Theater District, Cindy Hsu, CBS 2 News.
The Tony Awards tonight is a live 4-hour multi-platform event. The awards presentation at Broadway's Winter Garden Theater will stream on Paramount Plus starting at 7 p.m. Then at 9 o'clock on CBS 2, Broadway's Back, a live show of performances, and see who wins the Tonys for Best Play, Best Revival of a Play, and Best Musical. The award for the most patient, Broadway's devoted fans.
I've been waiting to see this show since May 6, 2020, so yay!
Crying my eyes out every single day waiting for it.
New York's back. This is awesome. Couldn't be happier.
Broadway is back!
How does it make you feel to be in an audience?
Like I'm finally alive again.
Just to walk up the strip again and see the lights again, it's just amazing.
I felt like crying just being in a theater. I'm so excited. I told on the people who didn't have their masks on.
For the past year and a half, it's been a long one without the laughs and the tears and the thought-provoking stories told on stages in the greatest city in the world. We miss that feeling of the community, the experience of sitting together with strangers and enjoying creative talent. Broadway is back, and it's going to continue into the spring with new openings, and there's a lot of energy instead of that silence in the theaters. I'm Dana Tyler. Thanks for joining me for this look at how Broadway is shining again.